we didn't raise as much as some of our counterparts in the industry did. While some were raising $200 million, we raised closer to like 2.5 million.
Hi guys, welcome to another installment. Yours truly, CEO Wiz, Mr. Business, and yes, we've got another exciting episode for you today. So, Divi Labs, financial ecosystems, crypto wallets. What does this all mean? Well, you got questions. Hopefully, we've got answers. Please welcome Nick Saponaro, CEO at Divi Labs. Hi, Nick. Welcome to the block.
Thanks for having me, Wiz. Glad to be here.
So, Nick, what is a CEO? What do they do in an organization? And what is it that you do specifically as CEO of Divi Labs?
That's a great question. What is a CEO? The CEO obviously is the primary executive in the company, drives a lot of the vision forward, of course, signs a lot of documents as well, and pretty much is ultimately responsible for all the successes and failures of the organization. Networking, business development, stuff like that kind of start there. And you kind of wear many hats as a CEO, I found, especially of a startup, obviously. And I didn't start as the CEO of this company, but I was appointed about 1.5 years ago. And I've learned a lot about, leadership and sharing that leadership role with the other executives and other resources on the team, which I think is probably the most important part, is that you're not a dictator, you're not even really the president in a lot of ways. Some CEOs are president of their company, but you're really just trying to drive things in a direction that makes the business more successful.
What is Divi Labs and what problems are you solving?
We started Divi Labs back in 2017, really when our token launched. We did an ICO like many others at that time to raise money. And we started with the same philosophy that we hold dear to our hearts today, which is we want crypto to become easy and accessible to everyone, everywhere. Those who have bank accounts, those who don't, those who have financial access to, the structures that exist and those that don't, and people who are technically savvy and those who aren't. And we've basically held that same philosophy from day one. We started by creating a technology that's now patented called Mochi, which is just a remote installer for nodes, an easy way to earn cryptocurrency at the click of a button or the swipe of your finger on your phone. And we figured if we could make the main thing that draws people to crypto, which is earning, easy, then we could probably simplify the other complex aspects of the industry as well. And that's kind of how we've driven forward for the past 5.5 years. We kind of came in toward the end of the big ICO boom in 2017. If you're not aware, there was this amazing euphoric moment in crypto back in 2017 when the concept of an ICO was born. So we came in towards the end of that. We didn't raise as much as some of our counterparts in the industry did. While some were raising $200 million,
damn!
We raised closer to like 2.5 million, which was still enough to get a company up and running, invent some things, build some stuff, and build it into a business that could sustain itself, which a lot of our counterparts in the industry did not do, even with the hundreds of millions of dollars that they raised. So we're very proud of the fact that we've been able to build a sustainable business, but we're always looking to grow as well.
You started the company back in 2017. You received an initial 2.5 in capital. What did you do with that money?
The first thing we did was immediately begin developing the product that we had told our community that we were going to build, which incorporated a blockchain, a crypto asset called Divi, and a wallet that could support the growing ecosystem that would develop outside of even what we we're building. Part of that was making it as easy as possible to earn Divi. So that patented technology that I discussed earlier was basically the first thing that we started working on. And we were able to deliver that despite some ups and downs, as you can imagine, within a pretty reasonable time frame. And people were very happy and started piling into it pretty heavily because for the first time ever, the sort of complex element, the hyper technical element was removed from something that they felt was unapproachable before. And so we started seeing a very different community come into our sphere. People who were actual grandmothers, retirees, young people, old people. I mean, the whole spectrum of individuals. And we've built a really interesting community as a result of that.
How big was the team when you initially started, and how big is it now?
Yeah, we didn't have many people on the team initially. So it's a funny story, actually. The first development team that we hired actually failed to deliver what we were trying to work on. And we burnt a lot of our initial money getting to that first failure. People were very disappointed. And of course, our coins price took a hit and everything. It's a very stressful time. But we recovered from that by hiring a new team, smaller team, actually, to do what we needed to do. So that first team, we probably had 8 people actually working on the project. And, a few people in San Diego where I was living at the time in a small office that we were basically WeWork, and a couple guys overseas that were helping out. Everything else was honestly community driven. And that's the nice thing about crypto. You can really fall back on your community. And some of those community members have become part of our team now. The team's grown to now 40 people.
Something a lot of CEOs struggle with is defining and implementing certain values into the company culture. How did you go about that?
I think the most important thing that we've found is that a lot of people can sort of adhere their mindset to our philosophy, right? And a lot of people have seen success in other industries with a similar philosophy. So like the companies that make X easy usually succeed in the marketplace, right? Apple made computing easy and eventually made smartphones easy. And they've, of course, become $1 trillion company. Amazon made e-commerce easy. And Shopify, has done the same thing with the reverse of e-commerce for entrepreneurs. Anything like the companies that make things simplistic or complex things simplistic usually win or do extremely well in the market. And I think most of the people that have joined our cause share that philosophy. They see that eventual outcome of like, okay, crypto might not be used by everybody today. I can't necessarily go and pay for everything in my life with it at the tap of my phone. But when that is possible, the companies that are facilitating that are probably going to be crushing it. And I want to be a part of that.
Okay. What is the moat technology that you have at Divi Labs? So essentially, what technology do you have that separates you from all of the competitors?
Right. So, I mean, as I said, we started with the earnings mechanism, but we quickly expanded beyond that. So we started developing a mobile wallet, which I think, having an easy to use wallet is, tantamount to the success of this cryptocurrency industry. And there are many wallets out there, great ones too, some, but there were none that we saw that implemented or employed the sort of familiarized infrastructure that people are used to in the apps they already use. And I'm talking as not just financial apps like your banking and Venmo and stuff like that, or PayPal probably is more relatable to a worldwide audience. But as easy as Twitter, as easy as Spotify, the things that people are using for their entertainment life, as accessible as those things. So we literally re-architected a crypto wallet from the ground up. From the minute you on board, you feel like it's something you've done before. And then once you're in, you have a username, you have an avatar, your friends have avatars, you're searchable by your email if you prefer, or your phone number, those types of things that people like just expect now in apps, we added. And I know these things sound obvious, but you'd be surprised how many crypto wallets still to this day don't have any of that. So having everything at your fingertips that way, enabling people to quickly buy and sell crypto, swap it, send to their friends, earn it, et cetera, et cetera. That is what has attracted, tens of thousands, closing in on hundreds of thousands of people to our ecosystem. And we were very fortunate in that we met La Liga, the Spanish soccer league, La Liga, the conference, and became their official crypto wallet regionally, especially here in MENA, as one of our primary regions, which validated our product to a whole new audience. And yeah, that's been amazing.
So let's get a little bit into a business model and pricing strategy. How is it that Divi Labs makes money?
Initially, we pretty much only made money from the cryptocurrency. So we developed it in a way that it basically produces a revenue stream by producing rewards once a week. It's basically like a salary for the foundation. But we knew that would only take us so far. So with the wallet, you have subscription services within the wallet that you can choose to partake in. Every action takes a small fee, just like you would expect in like a Binance or any other app. So we see those revenue streams, but we also found that outside of the business to consumer element, there was a huge B2B opportunity with what we had built. And when I became the CEO about a year and a half ago, I basically pivoted our focus to not ditch our consumers whatsoever or stop trying to acquire new users, but focusing on acquiring enterprise users, because I feel that the next wave of adoption in cryptocurrency will come from existing enterprise. You have Starbucks now that's doing some stuff with NFTs. You have Nike that bought a Web3 company. Adidas is dipping their toe. Budweiser, NFL. Like there's a million larger enterprises that are starting to dip their toes in. When that becomes full force and the enterprises really adopt it, people will start using crypto and blockchain without realizing it. And we want to be the ones that are building those things. So our B2B vertical has become a big stream of revenue for us. And so much so that we've completely re-architected our services so that here in the coming year, people will actually be able to just go on our website and subscribe to basically a software as a service product and integrate a crypto wallet into their website, or integrate, an exchange, so crypto swapping technologies into their websites or wherever services they want, NFTs, marketplace, etc. We want to make it as iterable and repeatable as possible and accessible to the businesses, just like we made it accessible to the users.
Tell us a little bit about your customers and how they've grown in these past couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, we have just on the mobile wallets about 45,000 users. And we really don't do, other than La Liga, we don't do a ton of marketing, especially with the current state of the crypto market. We'll ramp that up probably in the coming year. But outside of the wallet, not everyone in our ecosystem uses the Divi wallet. There's, probably well over 100,000 people that engage with one service of ours or another. And that grows because, and we're talking about growth, the more businesses that we integrate our services into through our licenses, the more users we basically get from an ancillary path, right? That we didn't have to go out and acquire those users. But if an enterprise wants to use our crypto wallet software in their business, their X amount of users become our users as well. And that's become, to me, that's like the quickest path to growth. If you can ever shoot one bullet and hit many targets, you always should.
Can you tell us a little bit about your ARR?
Yeah, so we of course have shifted a lot in the past 5 years. Crypto has changed 10 times. But in 2021 was probably our biggest growth year, where we saw our revenue jump, from 12 million to 25 million in 1 year, which was amazing. This year's been a little bit more rough. We're probably just flat, if not a little bit higher. But the crypto market crashed as well. So we end up there. But yeah, that's kind of how it goes. Recurring revenue, it comes a lot from our subscription services. It's it depends which service you're looking at, but that accounts for probably 25% of our business, I would say.
So how is your portfolio performing at the moment?
So actually, I sold a lot of my bigger assets um, around Christmas time, actually. So last December. It was near the peak though. I almost never catch the top, but I try not to get caught at the bottom either.
Okay.
So I sold off about almost 40% of my portfolio in December because I knew that it was going to come down. um, Obviously, the rest of the assets that I left to sit are just absolutely destroyed. But I've lived through, this is my third bear market in crypto, and the same thing always happens. This is the time that you want to try to accumulate things that you believe in. So Bitcoin has been at great prices for the past year, essentially. The same with Ethereum and a lot of the coins. It's about conviction. If you have conviction in your projects, then you'll be fine when it comes back.
I heard you say somewhere that when VCs invest in a project, they're looking for 10x on their return. Considering the current market, do you still stand by that statement?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, a lot of venture funds are down on their acquisitions and their investments, but that doesn't change their perspective, right? What will happen and what is happening is the valuations of the companies will come down. So they'll still get a 10x return because they're going to underpay for what they would have in a bull market. So where, back in like, the middle of last year, you were probably getting a 13 to 15x multiple. Now you're probably getting like a 3x multiple when you're raising money, which hurts the business but if you need the money, you need the money, right? But still, the VCs are still setting themselves up to 10x their projects.
So let's transition a little bit. Tell us a little bit about your journey. How did you end up as CEO of Divi Labs?
Yeah, I ask myself that a lot too. No, but I was in several businesses prior to Divi Labs that didn't pan out, both my own doing and companies that I had joined. So I've seen a lot of the mistakes and successes of others. I read a lot of books on business and of CEOs and other professionals that I really respect, as well as a lot of books on philosophy and psychology and things like that, because I think that those things are as important to sales as knowing how to sell stuff. So those, like, the baseline of knowledge, I think was always in there, and I'm constantly trying to learn new things. But I'm a technical guy. I was a developer when I joined Divi Labs, but slowly became almost like the face of the company. And I say that with some uh, beleaguered breath because I never intended on being that either. But it just kind of happened, I guess. I just try to contribute as much value to every project that I engage with as possible. And it just turned out in this situation that I had the breadth of knowledge of the company from being one of the co-founders, as well as enough business experience, connections within the industry, networking ability, et cetera, sales ability. It all comes into play. That the board was like, yeah, you're probably the best person to take over right now. So that's where I am now.
So you're originally from California.
Now, I actually grew up on the East Coast. So I grew up in New Jersey, a very small town in New Jersey, about 20 minutes from Philadelphia. And yeah, I mean, I was just living a normal life. I like riding my bike and playing guitar and stuff like that. And slowly had the opportunity actually to move to California when I was like 17 years old. I finished my senior year of high school in Palm Springs, and of course fell in love with Southern California. Always wanted to come back, so I did. When I was 21, I moved back to California, and I stayed there for like 10 years. My other co-founder is from Costa Rica, and we never wanted to establish the company in the United States. Um, Crypto in the United States don't get along that well. So Yeah, we're actually a Costa Rican company, but we're in the process now of moving it to Dubai, where we both are. So yeah, Dubai is very friendly to cryptocurrency and blockchain companies. So yeah, I just happen to live in the US.
California, sunny San Diego, down the street from the tech capital of the world, Silicon Valley, and now you're setting up in Dubai. Why Dubai?
Dubai is a burgeoning ecosystem, right? It's Silicon Valley is extremely established and it's a great place to go, if you want to work for the big companies or if you know a lot of people, you can raise money there and things like that. But it's very close knit. It's very hard to break into if you're not already in the club, so to speak. Whereas when I came to Dubai, I felt like I was invited. I felt like the doors were opening. They wanted our type of business here. They wanted us to invest here. Those types of things seemed very accessible. I mean, I was meeting with regulators within a month of being here. Those types of things just do not happen in the US. I've never met any regulator. I think I've met like maybe the governor of California once and the mayor of my town, but to get in front of a center, it's very difficult. So yeah, I just felt invited and I felt like this is a good place to establish before it really blows up. Because to be part of the growth of something is always better than to try to grift the growth of something, right?
So you founded the company back in 2017.
I was brought into Divi just as a freelance web developer, actually. I'd just come out of a software development class that I'd taken at a boot camp, basically at a local university. And my buddy basically hit me up and he said, "Hey, we're starting this crypto project. I know you've been into crypto for a few years. Do you want to build the site?" Sure. And I read their white paper, where the draft was at the time, and I started sort of just editing it and making my own red lines on their document. And they liked what I put in there, so they said, "We're still looking for co-founders. Do you want to be one?" And so I accepted that. And there were 6 of us actually at the time, 6 co-founders, and that quickly dwindled down to me and Jeff.
As the new appointed CEO of Divi Labs, what are your goals? And what is your strategic vision for, say, the next 6 months to a year?
We really want to especially work within the MENA region with some of the enterprises here and help them understand at least how blockchain and cryptocurrency, if necessary, can impact their business in a positive way. And we've talked to some big businesses here in the region and some small ones too. And it's interesting to watch the process of them being like, "Yeah, I've heard of Bitcoin," to really getting into some of the solution sets that can be applied. So I want to strategically, implement more blockchain solutions in this region, specifically in this region. Of course, we'll talk to anybody anywhere, but I think that this, especially in the UAE, you have the unlimited opportunity to build anything because it's such a new city or new state, new country. It's something that's fun to be a part of. So yeah, we'll be really heavily focused in MENA for the next year at least.
So what's next for you in Divi Labs? What can we look forward to?
We're working on several really interesting products right now in NFTs and in loyalty, in DeFi, and of course we're always working on our crypto wallet. But yeah, I mean, we're actually going to be opening a new round of funding here in the next couple of months, probably after Christmas and the holidays end. But so we'll be doing back on the fundraising trail, closing some new big clients, and yeah, just trying to build new cool things. Longer term, I don't know. I've considered a bunch of different outcomes for how Divi Labs could, they always say it's an exit, but it's never really an exit. We'd love to continue to grow and work with bigger businesses, and maybe one day be one of the bigger players in the space.
How do we stay connected and get involved?
Yeah, check out divywallet.com. It's the easiest way. Just download the wallet. You can set it up in a couple of minutes, just like you would with anything. And follow us on social media. It's just at Divi Project, pretty much on all the socials. and talk to our community. It's very open and welcoming. There's tons and thousands of people talking all the time. So just, yeah, come hang out.
All right, guys. So thanks for joining us for another episode. There you have it. Nick Saponaro, CEO of Divi Labs, the newest kid on the block. I'll see you in the next one. What does this all mean? Well, you got answers. Hopefully, we've got questions. When you founded the company, and implementing company values and what is your strategic